We often talk about ourselves being dog's best friend. You have this moment in your life where you get to care for somebody who's totally dependent upon you. You get from that a lot of joy and satisfaction, as does the dog. So there's this idea of when your dog's best friend, you're thinking about what that dog needs in their life to be healthy, to have fun, and in turn, they give you gifts every day. That connection happens for me with my dog, and seeing other people celebrate their connections with their dogs. It's a really positive business. It gets me up every day, and I love to come into work. I grew up in Columbus, Montana. My family homesteaded in Columbus. I loved growing up on a ranch. One, I loved animals. I still love animals. What I particularly liked individually of being on a ranch was being able to work with my hands. We were allowed to use welders and understand how we can machine parts and cut things out of metal, and also just digging ditch, running irrigation. I mean, all the things that were hands-on. I think I especially appreciated being able to create things and repair things, and making stuff has always been important to me. Shortly after college, in the early spring of 1996, my fiance and I were looking to move from Vermont back to Montana. I was coming out here to help my brother get his business started in Bozeman. It was in this time that I had this idea of like maybe starting a manufacturing company. I had a few ideas. Somebody said, hey, you love animals, you love manufacturing. There's a woman who is a sewer of toys and has a very, very small business, and she'd like to sell it. Do you want to go talk with her? It was that conversation that really kicked off this idea. When I called my wife, Carrie, from Montana and said, I think we should do this, she was very supportive. So I said yes. It was probably 5 to 6 weeks, and I suddenly owned this business and had to figure it out. Well, the prior owner had named it Pet Pals, which is a really cute name. What I learned was the name that was widely used in the industry, and so trademarking a unique name would not be possible. We changed the name to West Paw, and that's been the name ever since. So the first 2 years of the business, we were leasing the building in Livingston. And at the time, we probably had about 15 to 20 employees. We just knew that we would need to expand our facility. Also, we would want to access a larger workforce. We bought our first small cinder block building, and that's where we moved the business to, and we continued to grow from there. Dogs need a job. They need something to do. Our work is to create toys and treats and beds and leashes and collars to serve these dogs that help them do those jobs more successfully. It creates this joyful connection. We get to think in terms of what the dog needs and how to do that in a way that serves them and their relationship with their pet parent. What's really fun, though, is how the product gets built. Whether that's a sewn product, like on our cutting floor, you have to get the roll of fabric down, unroll the fabric, cut out the shapes, sew them, and create these toys that then get turned right side out to sort of reveal the character. And it becomes almost like a living thing. On the injection molding side, it's pretty incredible, the machinery that it takes to go from these really tiny little pellets and make a press come together with tons of pressure. And the plastic going in there might be recycled, and it might even be like ocean-bound plastic. And out of this, you come up with a beautiful dog toy. And that just passion for something that's physical and tangible has been with me from the beginning. At the end of the day, we all get together and say, we helped make this, and this thing has a long life that people get to use and enjoy. And I think that's what makes manufacturing so beautiful. When I thought about getting into this business, it was how to make an impact, a positive impact in my home state. Right now, it's really close to 99% of our product is made in the United States, and about 95% of it is made right here in Montana. We're often challenged to reconsider manufacturing in Montana, and instead manufacture overseas or in some other part of the country. A lot of our industry was frankly going overseas. And we chose differently. We wanted to invest in manufacturing, and we needed a lot of intentionality behind that decision, because it's a harder path, but one that I am so grateful we've chosen to stick to. One has to have like a philosophy of long-term impact in the business, and I think those manufacturers who choose to manufacture in the United States or in Montana, who have a longer-term point of view, will find that it's more successful over time. This idea around environmental sustainability came up being raised up on a ranch and noticing how we cared for the land. It was also, I think, the social and environmental sustainability was further brought to my mind as I went through college. I studied in Europe, worked in Europe, and I just saw the way in which Europeans were more focused on recycling, preserving land, and those ideas helped to create the ideas here at Westpaw around recyclability. So we created the world's first recyclable dog toy. We used recycled polyester from plastic water bottles and soda bottles as textiles and as stuffing for our toys. All of those things came from this idea of how do we make an impact with the product that we make. I'm just really proud of this team because they continue to have this really clear passion and focus on minimizing our impact and creating sustainability that is both financial, environmental, and social. One of the great gifts that I was raised up in a family that was on the ranch, you worked with your neighbors, right? In this idea of community. And my parents were both in business as well. And noticing that they always had this people first mentality, treating people and meeting them where they are and treating them with kindness and respect. And then align around a goal and go for it together. And that's the way business was taught to me. I'm really blessed that I was able to be raised up in that kind of environment. Businesses aren't always winning and not always successful, and Westpaw has had its ups and it's had its downs. And I think that's what rounds out our story, that we've had to overcome these problems. Maybe they're external, like a recession, or maybe they're internal. What I continue to come back to is by being honest and transparent, leaning into the values, engaging employees in our challenges and our opportunities, we all together can solve for tomorrow and create a better company. When I think about it, I can't imagine working in a company that is not values-based. Being values-based clarifies a lot of how we're gonna make decisions. Decisions that help sustain the success of the company long-term. Montanans bring a certain set of values to their work, values like resilience and values of sustainability and towards the environment. This idea, this notion in Montana that we live in the big sky country, we want to take care of it. And we will continue to do that, and we're standing on the shoulders of those who came before us. And so when I think about Montana's best values, they show up in our company. Whether somebody is born in Montana or not doesn't even matter. It's this idea that we collectively are making this place home. It's unusual to start a business that comes from this idea of like, well, we can make squeaky dog toys and cat toys and create success. I'm just incredibly grateful for my friends, my family, who've helped encourage me along the way.